whispers in the wires. The first sign came on a quiet Thursday evening. Musa Bello sat in his living room, legs stretched across a faded rug, scrolling through his phone. The fluorescent light above him flickered, buzzing like an annoyed insect. Light, dawn day misbehave again. Aisha called from the kitchen, where the smell of fried plantain filled the air. "Leave, Am," Musa replied lazily. "It will stabilize." He didn't notice the faint shock that passed through his arm when he rested it against the metal frame of the couch. A tingling sting, almost like a static spark. It happened often enough for him to ignore it. 2 weeks earlier, their small blender had stopped working after a sudden blackout. The repairman blamed bad light. Musa shrugged it off. In Nigeria, power supply was an unpredictable beast. But the truth was already lurking the soil outside his house. A rusted earthing rod, buried years ago when a house was built, now nothing more than a corroded stick that could no longer channel stray currents safely into the ground. On Saturday morning, Musa visited his friend Chaik, who lived 2 streets away. Chaik was a tall, lean man with an electronic shop set up in his front room. While they sipped hot tea, a loud pop echoed from the corner. The TV screen went black, its sharp smell of burnt circuitry filling the room. Again?" Chaik groaned. "This is the 3rd one this month." Musa laughed in sympathy. "My blender spoiled last week. These appliances are not strong." "Not strong." Chaik shook his head. "No, my brother, it is the grounding. This house doesn't have proper earthing. When NEPA restores light after an outage, current just rushes in and kills the devices." Musa waved his hand. "Grounding, earthing, all these electricians just want to collect money. As long as we have light, I'm fine." Chaik didn't push. They went back to sipping tea while rain began to tap gently against the roof. The following Sunday, Musa's family attended a service at the nearby God's own church. The hall was packed. The choir's voices rose with the rhythm of the drums. Midway through the worship, the pastor stepped up to the pulpit, microphone in hand. In the name of... A sudden snap of blue sparks burst from the sound system. The pastor yelped, jerking backward as a microphone shocked him. The congregation gasped. Ushers rushed forward, unplugging equipment. The service continued, but people kept glancing at the ceiling where wires dangled like snakes. Later, Musa overheard an usher say, "Nah, the earthing. We know the maintain and since dem install it." He chuckled under his breath. "Earthing again," he muttered to himself. "This whole area is cursed with bad wiring." That week, the signs multiplied. The refrigerator motor made a strange groaning noise before going silent. The water heater in the bathroom shocked Musa slightly when he turned the tap. The iron in Aisha's hand sparked when she plugged it in, leaving her startled. "Musa," she said one night, "I think we should call a proper electrician." He waved her off. "Do you know how much they will charge?" "We'll manage." It was not stinginess alone. It was apathy, that quiet, dangerous belief that nothing truly bad would happen. 2 weeks later, the day began with an uneasy heat. The sky was cloudless, yet the air felt heavy. By afternoon, dark clouds had gathered like an army at the horizon. At 5 p.m., wind rattled the windows. By 8 p.m., rain poured in thick sheets. The children played a board game on the living room floor, while the TV droned softly in the background. Aisha sat with them, smiling. Musa closed the windows against the wind. Lightning flashed, illuminating the room for a heartbeat before darkness returned. The thunder followed, loud enough to shake the air. It happened at 8:43 p.m. A blinding white flash split the night, striking a utility pole less than 30 meters from their house. The explosion of sound was immediate. A crack so sharp it seemed to tear the sky apart. The surge traveled down the wires faster than thought. In a well-earthed home, it would have been tamed, guided harmlessly into the soil. But Musa's earthing system was dead. The TV fizzled, its screen imploding with a hiss. The fridge shuddered and went silent. The power strip under the couch spat sparks like an angry snake. "Musa!" Aisha screamed, grabbing the children. Sparks leapt to the curtains. In seconds, fire climbed the fabric, licking the ceiling. Smoke spread, thick and choking. "Out! Out!" Musa shouted, dragging the children toward the door. Aisha was behind him. Until she wasn't, she had turned back toward the bedroom. "The documents!" she shouted, disappearing into the smoke. A wooden beam, weakened by termites, cracked and fell, blocking her way. Musa tried to push through, but the heat was unbearable. Her coughing echoed in the flames, and then there was nothing. By the time the fire service arrived, the bungalow was nothing but a skeleton of charred walls and collapsed roofing sheets. Rain hissed as it met smoldering debris. Musa stood barefooted in the mud, his children clinging to him. He didn't cry. His face was a mask of disbelief. The fire officer approached. "Do you know what caused it?" Musa shook his head. "Faulty earthing. The surge from the lightning had nowhere to go but through your wiring. Your protective system failed." The words were heavy, but they meant little to Musa at that moment. The only truth he understood was that Aisha was gone. The tragedy did not end with Musa's family. In the days that followed, reports came in. Chaik's shop lost all its electronics in the same surge. The church's sound system was destroyed beyond repair. A nearby kiosk owner received a shock from her freezer and collapsed. She survived, but barely. The same silent flaw was everywhere. An official report confirmed the chain of failure. Corroded earthing rod with no conductivity. Loose connections in the grounding wires inside the house. No surge protection devices installed on the distribution board. The conclusion was simple. The tragedy was preventable. Months later, Musa and his children lived with his sister. They spoke less, laughed less. Finally, a haunting image of his wife Musa went and procured a new earthing rod and installed at his sister's home, whispering. This could have saved her. Musa began visiting community meetings, telling his story. "I thought faulty earthing was only about appliances spoiling. I didn't know it could kill. Check your earthing rod. Test your grounding. Install surge protectors. Do it before it's too late." Some listened with wide eyes. Others shrugged, just as he once had. But he kept telling the story. Because somewhere in the ground, in another home, another corroded rod was waiting for the next storm. Final moral. Neglect is a seed. You may not see it grow, but one day, under the right storm, it will bloom into tragedy. Earthing is not a luxury. It is life insurance against the violence of electricity. Final takeaway. Electrical earthing is not just a technical formality. It's the invisible shield that stands between your home and disaster. The loss of Aisha's life in the story was preventable. The fire, the grief, and the broken family were not acts of fate. They were the result of delayed action on something as basic as grounding a home's electrical system. The most important lesson is this. Electrical safety is not an expense. It's an investment in life. Tragedy should spark change. Musa turned his grief into advocacy, warning others at community meetings. Sadly, many people only act after a tragedy affects someone close to them. The better path is learning from others' experiences without having to suffer them firsthand. Community leaders, electricians, and safety officers should use real-life stories to push for inspections, code compliance, and public education. Key action points for every household. From these lessons, here's a checklist that could prevent similar tragedies. Schedule annual earthing and wiring inspections by a licensed electrician. Replace corroded or damaged earthing rods immediately. Install surge protection devices at the main distribution board. Use lightning protection systems in storm-prone areas. Pay attention to warning signs like shocks, flickering lights, or burning smells. Educate family members on fire safety and emergency exits. Store vital documents in fireproof safes rather than retrieving them during emergencies. Encourage neighborhood safety campaigns to address common electrical risks.